Hey there, welcome back to SureFire Live. I feel like it's sure tired live for me. I have had a pinched nerve in my neck, and I don't know if you've ever had that, but I'd never had it before. And the last 3 days, I haven't been able to sleep. I've been going to the chiropractor. I've been doing all the things to try to relieve the pain. It's getting a little bit better, but it is definitely not feeling good right now. So bear with me if I seem a little sleepy. I've got some coffee and I'm ready to settle in for the night. And it should be the last week of the Facebook jail time. I think I'm back out on the 26th. So anyway, we'll be doing it on the on Facebook as well. But thank you for joining me tonight. There's been a bit of a topic, that there's. I put out a poll on Facebook this week on a couple different groups, and it said, what is your policy on installing products that you didn't sell? And there's a lot of different ideas on what you should and shouldn't do. And I've got a class tomorrow for HPBA, their online conference. They asked me to talk about this. And so I'm going to do that. And if you're on the HPBA thing, you can go over this with me and get CEUs for it. But tonight also, hey, this is a two-sided conversation. If you have questions, please comment on that. I'm watching the YouTube channel on my phone, and what's weird is it's not coming up. I see that we have a visitor, but a couple visitors, but let's talk charcoal. But for some reason it's showing on my phone that the event will start in a few minutes. I'm going to just check that real quick to see if it's showing up. And yes, it is. Okay. So anyway, welcome, Cody, and appreciate you joining me. We will. I'm just going to talk about, and I'm going to actually show my class to kind of go over it and see. I want to make sure it's showing up well. That's why I was watching this live on my phone as well to see how it looks. But so we have all been burned a million times on installing other people's stuff. And we just got burned on it last week. We went out to a customer's house. The guy said, hey, come give me a bid. I've got all the parts. I've got everything. I just need an installation cost. And the stove was a Napoleon, and it was a good stove. He had, I can't remember, the superior pipe. Everything was right. I mean, what he was going to get was right. We went out, and he said he would have all the parts. So we go out, and we look at it, and it looks like a pretty easy install. It's one of those barn dominiums, really wide open. And so we bid it for basically a day's labor. And my guy did not really actually take many measurements because the guy said he'd have all the parts. Well, then a couple days later, the guy said, hey, can you tell me what all I need to buy? And my inspector said, hey, we really didn't look at it that way, but from what I could tell, here's what you're going to need. And he said, I'm going to tell you you're going to need some extra parts too. You'll probably need to return them because we're going to order some extra elbows, some 1 foot sections, 2 foot sections. Make sure we have all the stuff we need, and you're going to have extra because that's how we would do it if we were going to do it, come out with plenty of extra parts. So we go, so he gives them this list, and clearly on the email, hey, these are extra parts. We get out there, the builder that set the unit in place, put it on a combustible, did the framing wrong, which happens all the time. We didn't have anything in our writing for that was a problem. So we went out and wasted a half a day there. And then we come out, and there was never a place to put the cold air, the fresh air returns. That had to be run through a hard area. That was missed actually by us. And then Then all the extra parts the guy bought, the company that he bought them from would not return them. And so then he wants to blame us for having them order all these parts. And so then now we've got this thing going on. And I bet if you're listening, you've had these similar situations happen when customers buy their own stuff or supply it all. Well, and so a lot of people say they wash their hands of it and say, I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't want to do it. We lose money on it every time. But guess what? That's not going to go away. Now, right now, everybody's busy. Everybody's super busy. You don't even have to be good in business to be busy right now. You could be the worst chimney company in the world and be super busy right now. In fact, a lot of them are, because the really good guys are so busy it's pushing it out to the guys who will do anything at any point. And so that's a problem with being too busy right now, and our industry being so small, is that we push out work to people who are unqualified and really shouldn't be doing it, but they are, because the good guys are so busy. That being said, I think that this is going to come. And I think one main thing is you don't want to do this kind of work in front of the work that you've already sold. If you're selling products, you want to do your work first, clearly. But if you have time, which a lot of people don't right now, it would go behind that work. I put this out there that, Jasper Drangler said, hey, I want to make my customers happy. So whatever it takes to make them happy, I want to make them happy. And sometimes I have to sell them extra parts. Hey, welcome, Bart. I want to read what Bart says right here. Bart says, it depends on your model. If you're looking to build service appointments which create reoccurring income, it is a strategy. Additionally, securing that customer for life can pay well over time. That was in my notes, Bart. Thank you. I completely agree that this is the part that is missed a lot, is what is the lifetime value of a customer? If it's just today and today's install, it may not be worth it. But is it worth 10 years of annual inspections and a few repairs and referrals from that job, which is thousands of dollars more? That's where a lot of people miss the value of getting to be the one to do that install. Bart also says you have to have a system in place and contract language to manage the expectations properly. Exactly. And that's what I want to talk about tonight, is that if you decide to do this, what is the language? What's the language you should have? And so that being said, I might be working around and fidgeting around a lot because my neck is talking to me. So bear with me, because I am just struggling to hold my head up right now. So let's talk about that. So a couple of things that let me see if this plays well. Let's see if you can see that very well I'm going to hide that. And can you see this? It says your cheese is moving. Looks like you can see it. I'm going to hit the play button on this. And I made this so that, because in the hearth industry, that's what I'm going to be talking about. The old parable, who moved my cheese? The cheese is moving on those guys, because what's happening is service industries. We in the chimney business know this, because our businesses are booming. A lot of hearth places are not necessarily booming. They're kind of trying to make do with what they have. Now they're busy, but they're not necessarily growing. And I've got some stats on that about how they're really not growing as much as, say, the chimney or service-oriented businesses are. And so I'm just going to go through this. It used to be, those hearth stores didn't have much competition because they owned they had the rights to the lines that they had, and they had the best lines. Well, now Woodland Direct and some of these other companies have come on and offer a lot of lines. Also, they didn't really want to do the chimney sweeping. They didn't want to do the repairs on the chimney. They would shove those all out to the chimney sweep companies. And chimney sweep companies, pick those up and did them. I did it for a very long time, for years. And they told me, hey, don't sell gas logs, and we'll give you all of our chimney and wood burning work. And that worked for a long time. I mean, really, a couple of hearth stores in town would really power 1 to 2 of my trucks, full time for a year for all the referrals. And the problem is that they helped me grow my service business, and they never grew their service department. And they told me, hey, don't get into gas logs and you'll be fine. Well, I got so many calls on gas logs. I finally told them, said, guys, I'm going to get into gas logs. And they're like, well, don't do that because we can't refer you anymore. I said, no problem. I'm going to have to do it anyway because there's such a big market. I think I can run 10 trucks on gas installs and gas appliances, and you help me power 1. Funny thing happened. We jumped into it. They immediately started giving us all their work they didn't want, because they made this rule that I think was stupid. They said, we're not going to service any gas logs or gas appliances that we didn't install. Even if they carried it and somebody else installed it, they wouldn't fix it. They only fix what they put in. And I'm telling you, it made me run 3 trucks right off the bat. When they told me not to do it and I did it, and then they gave me all that overflow work, it helped me grow that business. And I told them, I said, hey guys, you should be running 5 and 8 trucks out of this hearth store. And they just did not want to get into service. I'm like, every single gas appliance that you sell should have a contract on it, should have a maintenance agreement on it that it gets taken care of every year. If you just did that alone, you would have a huge service department. But they don't want a huge service department. The problem is with retail, and I'll talk about a quote here in a minute, that's a death sentence right now with the way the internet is making the middleman go away. The middleman is getting squeezed, but us in the service industry have a huge opportunity because of what's coming to us and what we're able to do. So let me go back to my screen here to make sure I can see. Why can't I see me? Here we are. So I'm going to remove this real quick. I want to make sure I don't have any other questions. So that is what it used to be. To me, that is what where the cheese was. And I remember we chimney sweeps were I don't know, maybe it was just me feeling this way, but I felt the hearth industry kind of looked down on us. And if anybody is out there listening that knows what I'm talking about, we were I remember going to HPBA before, and some of the hearth retailers were like, oh no, we don't sweep chimneys. No, we don't. We refer that out. We're the retailers. And I remember feeling, and I spoke about this several years ago at HPBA. I said, guys, you're going to miss the boat. If you have that, the boat is in service. The boat is in repairs. The boat is not going to be in retail sales of items and people coming into your stores. I said, I have 30 guys. At the time I had 20 guys going into homes, 20 trucks running with an iPad. And I said, this is my showroom. I said, we walk in there and people never knew they needed an appliance at all. They pick one from my iPad. They never came into your store. You never knew the sale happened. You never even had a chance to bid against me because I got in the house. I measured it outright. I made the connection with the customer. They believed in me. I didn't need a showroom. I said, now, don't get me wrong. There's times that a showroom is very handy and there's a certain group of customers that want that. But the most important thing is get in the house, cross the threshold, get in the door. And so you can then open up your world and how great your company is to service them versus in a showroom and never seeing the product. Today, Lee Roth, who does I think it's called Lunch with Lee or something like that, a little FaceTime Live too. And he picked up on this, this dilemma, this, question. And I commented back. I said, hey, great stuff. He had like 3 points that were kind of went along with what I was talking about too. And he said, well, let me back up. Let me just talk about what I think you should do. Number one, You should raise your prices. If they're going to have you install, let's just say it's a set of gas logs that they bought. Let's just say you charge $300 to put a set of gas logs in on just the labor part. I think you should charge a lot more if they bring their gas logs to the table. Like whatever that number is, I'm not going to talk number, but a lot more for them to bring an unknown set. Number two, and everybody agreed with this when I went across and showed did the polls, no warranty on their product. And Lee talked about this today. He said, product, they're the one that holds a warranty. If you buy it from us, we're the one that holds a warranty. So the customer can definitely save money by buying online. A lot of times, I've looked online and a lot of times the customer can buy stuff as cheap as I can buy it. But there's a lot of hidden costs and a lot of hidden issues with that. One thing I've noticed is that people that buy stuff online, a lot of times, we have a lot of stuff that's broken in shipping, but I think when people are buying from online retailers, it's handled a couple more times. I think there's more handling of the product, therefore they're more likely to be broken because it's gone to a 2-step or a 3-step distributor instead of right to my distributor to me and then in. It's gone to bounced around to the the Amazon warehouses or whatever warehouses on this truck, then on that truck, and then to, the delivery place and then to the homeowner. And then we got to take it out and it's broken. So I think you've got to understand that buying online can be cheaper, but it's also really likely they're going to have to send part of it back. There's always missing parts in whatever they order. But also, I just made some notes. Also, if they want you to make the parts list, I don't know if you've ever had people come out and say, hey, I'm going to buy it from this buying group or this or that area, and I'd like you to make a parts list. Now you're on the hook for it. And I think you need to consider you should charge for that. You should charge for, a lot of times when we're being asked to do it, it's new construction. So there's no real, it's hard to do an inspection fee or a level 2 or whatever. A lot of times it's new construction. I mean, more than probably 85% of the time, there's not a chimney there to inspect. So we've got to come out and we'd have to charge a consultation fee if they're going to do that. And then there has to be things in your language that says, if all parts are not present or broken, there is a trip charge or a day rate or whatever that they understand that they're getting into. When I put this poll out, Tim Smith had written down that, a lot of times their parts are broken and missing, but a lot of times my parts are broken and missing, even when they order it from me too. So he said, I don't know if that really, outweighs itself. So let me go back to my screen here and go to. I'm going to go. So this was interesting. Tim Reed says, in today's market, being able to install products is the single biggest advantage you have to set your business apart from online only vendors. Now, he's really talking to hearth companies here. A company who installs is the expert, period. If you are not able to offer installation, it is going to be difficult to stay relevant in the coming years. You'll need to have the lowest price and everything in stock at all times, a combination that makes it difficult to stay in business. I thought that was really interesting that what Tim said about that, because there's a decent amount of hearth stores that actually don't do installs. And I'm going to show you a graph here in a minute. But there's a big group. When I read the hearth, it's no longer in publication. I think last year in publication was 2018, but the hearth and home statistics were almost 50% of what hearth stores sold, they didn't install. Like they sold it to other people, or they don't do their own installs and definitely don't do their own servicing. They hand all that off. And to me, that's handing off a gold mine of what could be. So I want to show you a couple other things. This was interesting. These are actually snapshots from the magazine that I took. One, do you offer service contracts? And in this, only 27% of hearth dealers offer service contracts to their customers. 27%. I mean, 20. That's unbelievable that they. Nope, my thing moved. Hold on. Okay. Only 27% offer contracts. Like, that is just money left on the table. You installed a Cadillac, great appliance, yet you don't even have annual service on it, which is hundreds of dollars per year to make sure that thing stays in good condition. So, huge opportunity there. Next, years in retail. And this was interesting to me because so many of the industry was getting older. A lot of times when you get older, you don't want to change a lot. You don't want to do something different. So better than 52% of hearth retailers have been in business over 29, say 30 years. That's an aging industry that needs young blood in it. Now, you know what's happened in the chimney industry? A ton of young blood has come in, but that hasn't necessarily transferred over to the hearth retailers owners, because a lot of people don't necessarily want to own a hearth retail shop, but they do want to own a chimney business and be able to install products, but they don't necessarily want the brick and mortar. There's a lot of people out there that do have brick and mortars and they do great, but they've probably been in business for a while. Outlook on selling hearth products. So here, this was interesting. Now, this was a few years ago when this was taken, but only 15% really expected a large increase in selling more appliances and more product. And then less than 15% expected some increase. Then it was 11% expected. 11% expected to sell less than they did the year before. 33% expected to sell about the same. So in the hearth industry at the time of this study, they really didn't have a good outlook on if they could grow or not. But guess what is growing? Service. Everybody in service could have 5 more trucks right now. I mean, everybody. If you could manage it, everybody could handle more trucks, especially in busy season. Almost everybody could double or triple if they could handle it. And I'm going to show you some other stuff that's interesting. This was interesting to me. That was backlogs, which is days of, to me, it's lost opportunity. The further backed up you are, the more opportunities you're losing, especially in today's market with our prices going up all the time. And if you're booked out for a month or 2 months, well, your prices have gone up, but you've had to keep the same contract in place. And so therefore you made less money. So I just want to show you something. In 2010, let's just go September. In 2010, the average wait was 15 days. And then this was in September. And then in 2015, it ended up being 18 days. So every year, what you can really take from this is the backlog from hearth stores and even chimney sweeps has grown. They've had to push customers out further and further and further. And then this is in 2015, so it's a little bit old, but I think it's at least this long, if not longer now. In November, people had to wait 26 days for an install. And I think a lot of people watching this show would say it's longer than that now. It's 30 days to 45 days for an install. Guys, that is a gigantic opportunity for us. That is absolutely a gold mine. And can you turn that work over and get your people out there and get stuff installed? It's really about how fast can you be? How fast can your engine move? How fast can you reduce barriers to get people, out there to get things installed? So, and then in a minute, I'm going to check back. Right now, I cannot see the screen if anybody's asking questions, but please ask questions or comments. This is a one-sided conversation, but I want to hear what you're saying. I've got to put this class on tomorrow, and I want to take in all accounts. I don't want to think Mark's got all the answers, because I've got my own answers that work for me, but also I'm very cognizant that there's a lot of different ideas that work for different companies. So this was from the hearth industry. This was from Tim Reed. He did this small case study. He said, All right, do you install the product that you don't sell? So only 14% of the hearth industry actually did. They said, absolutely, I want to do anything to make money. And then, yes, but we try not to. So that's 28%. No way. People with 39%. Then I don't offer installers. I'm not a retailer. But basically, when you look at the top three things, add number 1 and 2 together, that's 42%. Add no way together, or what no way is 39%. About half the industry says we will, half the industry says we won't. Next, here was my question out to the industry. I said, hey, and I basically used his same questions. If you look at it, no, we don't want the headache was 38 votes. And then yes, we would. And yes, but we do, but we'd rather not was 24, 25 votes. So that was a little more to the no, that we don't do it. On Chimney World, it was closer. 33 said, no, we don't want to do it. And then basically 31 said, yes, we will do it. And then we'll add 4 more to it, says we would rather not, but we will. We will, providing we provide part of the venting products, which I agree with. So that was actually 35 to 33. So in this case, on the Chimney World side, we said more people said they would than not. So what's that mean? So here was a bunch of comments that I thought were interesting. And reason I'm doing this is I want you to build your own policies for what you want your company to do. And there's a lot of good ideas on here. And I'm going to go back through these and put our policy together. Again, I believe I will install them, but I want some better policies around why we do it. So this person said, we upcharge our usually daily rate. They must show us a parts list and pay for initial investigation and consult. Then we charge if we have to provide additional parts. I love that. We install anything as long as we are making money. If they don't order the right parts, we charge a fee. We double all rates and charge our service fee for any warranty issues. Most of the time the answer is no, but it's a case-by-case basis. This one person said yes, but we usually regret it. The only time we do it is if they provide us a receipt so we know they got it from somewhere reputable. We have to perform a level 2 before anything if needed. Also, 0 warranty. And if we show up and parts are missing, they get billed for our time regardless. Majority of the time, that changes their mind. They just buy it from us. I love that response. I agree with that. One of the guys says, for masonry fireplaces we install, they're great. Another person says, nope, we pass. Only install stuff we sell. And so depends on the brands. We have access to most manufacturers. Someone wants to put in a box store stove. We'll do it as long as they're using our venting and the customer signs off that we have no responsibility for warranty issues or defects with products not purchased from us. If we show up and parts are missing, they get charged for a day's worth of install. Again, I agree with all that. And what he said in that was we must provide the venting. That's a thing that we do too, that they can provide the stove or the appliance, but we have to provide the venting and the installation, all of that. So 1, we can make money on it. 2, we know how the venting goes together and we can order the extra parts and not get tied up in that. So let me back up into this to make sure I've got, here we go. All right, so I got a couple more questions now. Okay, so let me hide this. Chad says, I am a not. I don't want the responsibility for a crappy product. I mean, I get it. Then Cody says, it's the problem Ray Kroc had with McDonald's. You have to maintain quality of the product you serve. Yep. And then Chad says, I'm no Ray Kroc. So, but understand this, in my opinion, this isn't going away. Right now, we're all super busy and we don't need it. But what happens when the day comes you might need it? You might need to do the work and you have a policy against it. I always I always worry about limiting beliefs of how we've always done it, kind of stuff. I'm always open to have my belief changed on how I've always done it. And if somebody provides a good argument, then I will change. I will make that change. And for me, if I look at where the industry is going, what's happening to our stores, a lot of them are closing down. There's not a lot of hearth stores opening up. I mean, every once in a while, I see a chimney company open a hearth store, which I think if you want to be in retail, that's a great thing because you already understand service. If you understand service really well and want to open up retail and want to get into that, I think you have a much better chance of being successful than the other way around where you don't understand service. You want to retail out a bunch of products, but you don't understand how to service a customer. I think that's a death sentence in today's business world. So I think if you're a chimney guy, I personally would not do it, and I'm against retail myself. But Bart Ogden is on here, and he is a fantastic retailer. And I know there's like Doug Hatch, and there's several other chimney guys out there that are good retailers. Josh, can't think of his last name, but there's some really good retailers out here, but they understand service. That's the difference. Here from Kyle, I only install products we sell. I don't support the internet businesses. I get it. I mean, the internet businesses are not going away. They've only grown, and they are outselling everybody. So they don't really care what the chimney guys say. They're going to keep selling it, and they're going to keep having crappy installs, and they're going to keep having, handyman put stuff in. They're going to keep having the homeowner try to do it. My thought is to get in the middle of it. If they want to just go cheap, you can't handle cheap. But some people think they're saving money, and this is where you can educate them that they're actually not saving money. Here is Cody. Cody says, yes, have the potential to be fully self-sufficient. Don't suffer being landlocked as a company and need to ship everything in. Chad says, I used to do it. I didn't have a good system to prevent unnecessary callbacks for free. I haven't evolved. I love Chad's honest, man. If he's not something that's great, he will absolutely own it. He's not trying to say he's something that he's not. He's like, okay, we suck at this, but we're actually pretty good at that. But and I love that. So yeah, Josh Kelly. So Josh Kelly runs a tremendous retail and service operation. That's who I was thinking of. And I know he and his family have they run both really well, which is rare. I mean, locally, there's no big store in my area that runs a good service department. Now the big store in my area does have a couple good technicians. They've got a couple great technicians, but they won't grow the service business, so they can't really service many people. And so it's a family-owned thing, but they won't, I begged them. I said, guys, you need to have a big service company. And they just wouldn't do it. So good stuff. Yeah. So again, understanding service is the key. And if, like Kyle said, hey, I don't want to support those online box stores. I understand that. But understand it could be a limiting factor down the road. Now, right now, like I said, everybody's busy. You don't even need it. Don't worry about it. You're busy enough, especially smaller operations. It doesn't take much to be overwhelmed. When you get bigger, it's a big monster. It's a hungry monster. It needs a lot of food. And so you've got to look at more marketing, more opportunities, more ways to get through the door than if you run, say, under 5 trucks. I think for me, once you get above 10 trucks, it starts to be a hungry monster. And we're approaching like 35, 38 trucks, and you've got to open up the opportunities, and therefore it's a big ball that rolls, and you got to feed it. Kyle also says, my uncle owns a showroom and a distribution company for hearth and patios, and I run the service company. Oh, cool. Gotcha. So, yeah, that's a little different. So I don't blame him for not wanting to support the online stuff because they're in direct competition with your uncle's showroom. And, yeah, I get that totally. And it would kind of, you'd hate to take something away from your uncle or family when you can really push them to your uncle. And that makes total sense to me, Kyle. Thank you for that clarification. Let me finish my showing my program here. Thank you guys for all of the feedback. Tonight, I was going to have Mike Fazy on showing Bare Hands Pro, but I was still in Facebook jail. So I was like, I'm just going to have to come up with a new program. So I just winged it with what I'm getting ready to do tomorrow. And thank you guys for being so interactive. Let me talk about a few more things that I have on this list. What people said. Okay. Another thing. No, we do not install customer supplied products. I'll leave that for other companies. Too many times I tried to install customer supplied things and it was never right or was broken or it wasn't at all. So I gave up years ago. Somebody else says no, because if they don't have all the necessary parts, then I lose a day of work. I would rather sell my own unit, but not totally opposed to installing quality brand units. Another person says, I don't have a problem with it. Different warranty, different contract, same job. I've only had material issues a couple of times over the last 25 years or so. The percentage of times the customer gets the wrong or not enough parts is actually probably the same percentage of times that I've had materials I've ordered come in to me damaged. I believe that was Tim Smith. Company policy, we only install what we sell. If they want us to install it, they purchase it from us. If we don't sell it, they find someone else. And lastly, zero warranty and make them sign off on it. We will install things based on the manual that must be provided. But any issues on the product, we will not warranty it. I think there's a lot of commonalities here. We all agree, charge more, charge for the inspection or the consultation, no warranty on the parts, charge more than you normally would. I think those are some of the commonalities in here that everybody can kind of agree on. So let me go back to my regular screen. So remove that. All right. So Kyle, so that was me. So here's Cody says, no joke, our monster's about to grow 3 extra stomachs. I'm not sure what he means by that. You're probably your service business. And so again, we are in what I think is the best. We are sitting on a gold mine, guys. We are absolutely, it could not be better. And I talk about this a lot, but I can remember 10 years ago where we thought the chimney industry was going to die. I remember going to conventions and everybody there was pretty much gray haired and we were all tired of doing relines and sweeping chimneys and the industry has changed so much in the last 10 years and we have progressed so fast. And I think even on the chimney world side, in several other areas, we're really talking business now. We're talking business as much as we're talking technical. And we need both. We need both. But there for so many years, it was all technical. It was how do you pour a crown? What's the best brush to use? How do you, what's the best vacuum? What's the best camera? How do you schedule 5 appointments in a day? All technical stuff, all totally needed. Almost nobody talked about what was talking about. Hey, what are you guys doing for 401k? What about health insurance? How do you guys, how do you do on org charts? Like the conversations that have happened in the last couple of years is just totally exciting for what can happen in this industry. Cody says, in the case of gas logs, you should only install what you sell. It's a chain of custody issue. You don't want the responsibility for fixing something that the customer bought online. Yeah, man, gas logs we really try to not put those in. We charge a lot more for them. We do the same thing, no warranty. It could leak. It could not be a problem. You still got to pay us. And we really, really sell against gas logs. And but I think, back to what Lee was saying on his Facebook Live, is that if when you're talking to the customer, you're going to own the warranty. If you're good with owning the warranty and returning it, talking to customer service, talking to tech support, that's on you. And then you're going to have them and you're going to have us. You have multiple people to talk to. If you buy it from us, You got one place that holds a warranty, one place to call to get it fixed, and your overall experience. The other day I ordered something from Amazon. I ordered a drop down screen for my outside living area, 120-inch screen. Well, they shipped me an 84-inch screen, and it wouldn't even fit on these poles I have set up for it. I called them. I said, "Hey, I need a new one," and they said, "Just keep it. Like, you can just have it, and they're going to send me another one." There's nobody to help you on the other end. If you're buying gas logs from someone on the other end, nobody out there is going to help you. This is funny. So Ray is my CFO, and and Chad's working with him on gas log prices. And we have a saying for Ray. It's Ray don't play. In fact, Alan Rush bought him raydon'tplay.com because he's such a numbers guy and he's such a stickler on making money for the company. I've never seen anybody like this guy. He's relentless. I mean, I couldn't hang out with him like a lot because we're so different. I'm so one-sided and he's the other. But in a business, you need somebody that thinks like he does too. And I think Chad is seeing that. Kyle says, "Welcome to the second generation of sweeps." Yes, taking over the business and stepping up 401k health benefits. I went out of the truck and into a desk. Yeah, good for you, Kyle. You're seeing it as a business. In generation one chimney sweeps, for the most part, saw it as a job. It was a technical job. I want to be a chimney sweep. I like being a chimney sweep. I like talking to the customer. I like fixing stuff with my hands. Generation two still does like that, but they're also seeing that, hey, there's a time frame that I'm going to do that for a little bit, and then I'm going to step out of the truck and I'm going to run the business, and I'm going to build opportunities for other people. I'm going to service more customers. And that's generation two. And generation three definitely wants to see it as a business. Not everybody, but in general, the guys that are coming in now definitely that are trying to own a business definitely want to see it as a business. And the guys that come to work for you now want the benefits as well. They want, if they're going to work for you instead of work on their own, they need a bunch of things taken care of. And they need some of these things that make your work stickier, the 401ks, the health insurance, savings plans, vacation time, paid vacation and holiday pay, and, just some stuff, just some next level real business things that us chimney sweeps didn't necessarily need to provide for a long time. But now with the labor market as tight as it is, we do need to think along those lines. I was on a Zoom last week about hiring with a bunch of other types of companies, not chimney companies. And what's happening with them is, it's not happening in the chimney business, but what's happening with them is literally people are calling their people and offering them jobs and headhunting people that are already like working and following their employees around and like offering them jobs on, out there. Now, I know even on Chimney World, somebody blame me for picking up somebody's employee, but in that case, the employee had his resume out on Indeed. If you got an employee that puts a resume out on Indeed, nobody's stealing them. They're looking for something else. So, but in this case, in this Zoom I was on, literally people were like being stolen, contacted, phone calls. You're already working for this company. We'll offer you twice the money. And so that was really interesting. And for us in the chimney world, you need to offer a type of culture and business that people want to stay with and grow with. A couple more things from Cody. Cody says it's the little extras that really make the job opportunity stand out. 100% agree with that. Kyle says, yep, I don't want my employees to think it's just easy to start their own business. I want to give them a career, not a job. The thing that I found on that was when I was a smaller company, I had more people try to jump ship and start their own company. It's like, well, if Mark can do it and he's running out of his house, then I can do it and run out of my house and make all that money that Mark's making, which they had no idea I was just starving to death and barely making it. But then as the company grew and got bigger and bigger, a lot of people that would come in and go, yeah, I don't have 30 years to put into this like Mark did to have this. I'd rather work for Mark. He pays well. He's got a really good setup. I've got a good income, and I can go home at night and not have to worry about business. And I can have a different life than, yeah, everybody comes into work for me now, goes, oh yeah, I'd like to be sitting where Mark's sitting. But I promise you, they didn't want to be sitting where I was sitting 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Nobody at all wanted to sit where I was sitting when I started this business and I was 5, 10 years into it at all. I mean, it was embarrassing. Yeah, later after 30 some years of getting my butt kicked, yeah, it looks pretty good now, but nobody wanted to change places many of those years. And I know a lot of chimney guys that are like that. Like, it looks good now, but you have no idea the time and effort put in. All right, so I am about 46 minutes in. I've pretty much run through my thought process on the on selling other people's stuff. I don't know that I've changed anybody's minds, but I want you to think that don't be closed-minded about this is my only thing. Right now, you got tons of work, and you don't need the work, and I get it. You don't need to change anything. But there'll be a day comes when the phone slows down. There'll be a day comes when all of a sudden you don't have that much work. I'm not wishing on anybody, but I remember 2008 pretty clearly, and I could not make that phone ring. One of my specialties is marketing, and I could not get the phone to ring. It didn't matter what I did. I could not get the phone to ring very, very much at all at that time. And I had 17 employees at the time. I had to let them all go, and I went back out to doing all the work myself. Well, when I got out there, yeah, I could sell the work again. I sold so much work, I had to bring some more people on. But there can come a time when you need anything. That phone ringing is a blessing. I can remember us all sitting around wishing the phone would ring. We'd done all of our work. I remember looking at the schedule, and there was no work for tomorrow. Like, I've said it a lot, when you have months worth of work on the books, that's not good. You only really need work for tomorrow. As long as tomorrow's full, that's good. Now, in reality, you need about a week's worth of work. Now, there's some people that would say, hey, a week's worth of work, I'm dying. No, you're not. You're actually in a very good place. I would love to be 1 week out on everything. That would be fantastic. 2 weeks tops. Right now, we're about 4 weeks out on repairs, maybe 5, which I think is terrible. But and we're a lot quicker on chimney sweeps right now. We're only a few days out on that, which I really like. But don't feel that a huge backlog is a benefit. It really isn't. You're losing, especially in today's economy and today's prices going up, you're losing money every week that you've got stuff on the books. So so here's Bart saying, hey, think ahead, plan now to fill your future funnel. That's another point about installing other people's products that does help you fill that future funnel with forward work, maintenance contracts. That's something we don't do a lot of in the chimney industry is maintenance contracts. And I find it in the South kind of hard to do it on wood burning products, but I can tell you it's easy to do it on gas products. We probably have 200 people under contract on their gas logs that pay monthly for it. And that could be a whole nother show. But I think gas products, and again, that's the future. That's where things are going. So get your guys NFI certified. Get your guys understanding gas and gas installations and gas servicing, because that's where things are moving to, and be ready for it. Electric is another big thing. Believe it or not, electric needs annual servicing too. So if you install electric, look at the manufacturer's installation instructions, and it says annual servicing. It's simple. It's literally like, vacuuming out a few things and testing a few things. But electric is coming. It's looking really good. Be lined up to put electric in, swap electric out, new faces, do all the things needed for electric. A couple more things here. Kyle says, don't get me wrong, I've installed plenty of customer supplied product right now, and right now we don't need to. Yep, I get it. 100% agree with that. Kyle said, that's why I'm out shopping for another truck. Yeah, I used, it was funny when I would shop for other trucks. I used to be addicted to white trucks on the side of the road that said for sale. Whenever I drive by one of those white trucks, it was like a little money maker to me. And for a long time, I had like a $5,000. If it was a $5,000 truck, that was a moneymaker to me. I could just easily pay cash for it. It would quickly pay for itself. I could put a wrap on it or put some lettering on it. It looked good. It lasted me for a few years. We called them Bics because they were disposables. We'd buy a couple big vans and we would just keep cash flow up. And I'll tell you when that really paid off was in 2008 when the economy crashed and the work dried up. All of my trucks were still sitting out in the parking lot when the work came back. Nobody came and got my trucks. And there's some people in this industry, and some of them are pretty well known, that when they went down, they took their trucks with the banks, took the trucks and took all their stuff, and because they were leveraged too far out. So Kyle, if you're buying a truck, my favorite thing to tell you, dude, is buy it with cash. Try to, sometimes you have to have it and you don't have the cash, and it's a capital expenditure that you need to buy, and I get it. But in general, don't finance your growth. In general, you want to cash flow your growth. That if anything rolls backwards with the economy, which a lot of things are pointing that it could, you're prepared for when the economy picks back up. Then Cody says, I'm running through my SureFire training, I promise. Kyle says, I'm trying to figure out a maintenance contract. Please help with that. That's my goal. I'll work on doing that in a future class with some maintenance contracts about how we do it. And Bart, maybe you could help me with that if you're listening. Cody says, hey, biannual inspection agreement, one after the burning season, one after the storm season, directly before the next burning season. I understand that. Another thing I'm thinking about doing too is selling the warranties as a package. So basically right now we warranty our stuff for so many years, depending on what it is. But I'm really thinking about everything has a 1-year warranty on it. And then if you want a longer warranty, it's X amount of dollars, probably a percentage of the total. So maybe like 10% of the total. So if it's a $5,000, and again, I'm spitballing right now. I don't have this worked out at all, but I'm just telling you what I'm thinking about is, if you want, because the reason I'm thinking about it is because we got an HVAC company too, and it's a pretty new service. And I've noticed that in HVAC, they sell the warranty for the unit separately. So from the manufacturer, it comes with a 90-day labor warranty and 1 year on this, 5 years on this, 10 years on this, but nothing includes labor. But if the customer wants the labor too, they buy the warranty up front and they pay X amount of dollars, $200, $500, $1,000 for the warranty that covers from 5 years or 10 years, and they sell that warranty separate. And I think that's really interesting that I'm going to try to work that out along with our maintenance contracts, that you buy the warranty as a separate item if you want that. Some people don't want a warranty at all. They're selling the house. They don't care about the warranty at all. And so there's an interesting fact about us holding the warranty, and should we be paid for it, and how does that work? So Kyle says, hey, I buy all my trucks with cash. Good for you, buddy. And then Cody says that the Best Buy style extended warranty offered at checkout. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. I think that's a big deal for chimneys. I think that could be a gold mine for us. I mean, you could pay your salesman or your chimney sweeps extra, a spiff on selling the warranty contract. And then you're not held so tightly if the customers don't buy it and they want you to warranty it forever and they didn't buy it. Well, you had the chance to buy the warranty. Again, I'm just talking out loud. I don't have it totally worked out, but I do know that it's happening quite a bit in other industries, and we should pick up on that in chimneys. Kyle says, yeah, I come from HVAC, and that's where I have a lot of good sales ideas from my dad. Thought I was crazy. Yeah. Bart says, then we could set robocalls. I've been trying to reach you about your fireplace warranty. Oh, Bart, I need to get you on this show, man. You run such a great business. I want to get you on here. And so, that's exactly, but just food for thought, I think, again, our industry is growing up. It's growing up in front of our eyes, right in front of us. This whole thing is going up to another level. And, Mike Fazy is going to be on next week. He's going to show you another level of inspections. The guys from SnapLock have come on, showing you another level of product and innovation. Chad's coming on with another level of coaching. We're trying to do more with SureFire, with the online training, and offering more and more training like this to, just to be better, to always be going up. As long as this industry is going up, we're all in a good place. If it ever starts to sink, that's when we got to look at ourselves again. Kyle says, warranties, maintenance contracts, spiffs all day. That's what I'm going to get Chad to help me with in my coaching. Yeah. I think, again, there's something there. And Chad said thanks. So guys, it's going to be my time. My neck is cranking on me. I can't wait to lay down and take my muscle relaxers that they gave me today so I can finally sleep. I haven't slept in 3 nights. So thank you guys for bearing with me. Next week, we will be on with Mike Fazy. Mike doesn't want to do the talking. It's his developer, I believe. Hopefully Mike will be in the background. He's not a big talker, but that guy's a doer. And so he'll be on. We're going to talk about Bare Hands Pro, which is a really innovative new inspection platform. I really don't know that much about it. I know when he was working on it, and Chad's told me it's fantastic, and I think Chad helped him with some of the early on, kind of the demos of it. And I think it's really going to be a good thing. Chad said he's working on Mike, and thank you, Cody, saying that's my favorite show every week. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, that's our time. Come see us next week. You guys have a good week out there. We'll talk to you later.